Hi Aries, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol. This is going to be a general reading for you for July 2025. And in today's reading, I'm going to be using the Tarot of the Abyss. And I'll also be using the Radiant Rider-Waite deck. And we'll be doing the Yellow Cardinal Tarot reading. And I know I've done this one for you before. So let's get started right away. I want to look at the issue or the problem or the struggle that you're dealing with right now. It could be a pattern that's showing up for you, a cycle that's replaying again. So let's ask for one card for that for you, Aries. And I know it was upside down when it fell. You have the Seven of Wands. Now the next card is going to be a card that's going to either clarify this Seven of Wands, or it'll be something that's obscuring it, something that's blocking it. It's going to give me a little bit more information. So one card for that, please. And you have the Star card, and that came in sideways. Now we're going to look at, in position 3 is the conscious influence, and that's going to be the influence on the situation you're sitting in that you're aware of. Okay, so you're consciously aware of, and I want one card for that. You have the Eight of Pentacles. Then on the right, we're going to look at my right, your left. We're going to look at the unconscious influence. So that's what you're not aware of because it's sitting in your shadow. So this is something from childhood, something from your adolescence that's coming up for healing. And it is actually, believe it or not, what's having the most influence, the biggest impact on the situation you're sitting with. We often think it's this conscious influence that's causing this, but it's not. This is the conscious influence is actually kind of a mirror effect of what's coming up over here. And so you'll see that these two, number 3 and 4, are going to relate to each other. So what's sitting in your shadow right now? What's the unconscious influence on the situation that you're sitting with right now, Aries? One card for that. Oh, 2 cards. So you have the Queen of Cups, first of all, and the Four of Pentacles in reverse. And then at the top, it's what's needed for resolution for the situation that you're sitting in. So one card, what's needed for resolution. Almost. There we go. This one, the Two of Pentacles. And at the bottom, some advice from the tarot. Guidance from the tarot. One card, please, at the bottom. Ten of Swords in reverse. And now I'm going to ask for some clarifiers, further clarifiers. We're using the Radiant Rider-Waite. I'm not sure if I said that yet. So, can you give me some clarifiers for the Seven of Wands and the Star card here? 1 to 2 cards. Oh, and I got 2. So I got the Nine of Wands, and I got the Knight of Pentacles. That was in sideways. 8 of Pentacles, a couple cards for this one, the conscious influence. And one more card. Okay, 8 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles sideways. How about the Queen of Cups and the 4 of Pentacles? I'll take one more card. Oh, that one wanted to come out. Got the Tower card and kind of sideways here. So, not sure which way it wants to go. 2 of Pentacles, couple cards, please. One more. Okay. 7 of Cups in reverse and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. 2 10 of Swords, couple cards for that. One card. One more. Shuffle here. There we go. You have the 10 of Cups and the Strength card sideways. Now, I'm going to pull an oracle card for you as well for the end from Return of Spirit. And I won't tell you what it is, but we'll read it right at the end for you. Okay. Oops. So, what are you dealing with right now, Aries? You are first starting out with the 7 of Wands in reverse. 7 of Wands is a card that says the individual is standing here on top of what could be a hill, you know, a rock, some sort. It's probably my favorite card in the deck. It reminds me a lot about myself on my own healing journey, where you're standing here and you're trying to battle with your wand all these people below here. So it's somebody that has decided, you know, to go off and do some healing, maybe do some self-care, some work on themselves, wanting to finally put themselves first. And you got all these people below kind of going like, wait a minute, come off your pedestal. Who do you think you are? What are you doing? You know, when people can get real threatened by someone that decides to go on this healing journey and do some real inner work. And so it's a card of not feeling supported, not feeling validated, and it's in reverse here. So I'm wondering if, you know, maybe you're wanting to do this. You're wanting to do healing. You're thinking about it. You're wanting to go on this journey, but you don't have the support around you. You don't feel like you can do this. Or maybe you're on the journey and you're not being supported because it's in reverse here. So whatever the situation is, I think there's just a lack of support. There's a lack of validation around you right now. And the Star card's sitting right behind it to clarify it, you know, which tells me that it's sideways here. The Star card talks about, you know, reaching for that star. It talks about doing the healing, wanting to do the healing. But, you know, so there's a want here, but it's sideways. So yeah, like, are you feeling like you're not supported, you're not validated? Maybe you're in a situation where you won't get the support of the validation, so there's maybe a fear to even to do this. And it's so important that on this journey that we feel safe enough, that we're in a position where we are safe enough to do this work and where we do some healing. And yeah, you're going to be surrounded by people that will not validate you and will not support you. And I think, you know, the 9 of Wands talks to me about an individual that's having to, put up these boundaries, and maybe there's a need for boundaries on your part. Sometimes we end up putting up walls because we don't know how to put up boundaries. Maybe you've tried and it's just like it's not working, you know. You always, there's an expression, I don't know what it is. It's like when you set a boundary with somebody, you will find out who is who are the real people that need the boundaries in the first place, because they're the ones that aren't going to like the boundaries. And that's just how it works. And so yeah, there's like this need, or this, I think you've put this wall around yourself to try to protect yourself. And then you got this Knight of Pentacles here coming in, and the Knights in my deck are what I call freedom fighters. They're the ones that and he has a pentacle in his hand, so they're the part of us, it's an adolescent part of us that wants the freedom to put themselves first. They want the freedom from oppression. They want the freedom from their pain. There's a part of you that's pulling for that freedom. They don't want to conform anymore to people's wishes. They want to be on their own. And so there's a part that's really pulling you that way, wanting to pull away and feeling this pull, this wanting to pull away from people, wanting to move in a certain direction. And maybe it's you feeling more grounded. The Pentacle's all about being grounded, right? And Pentacle can refer to, you know, material things as well. You know, maybe there could be some fear in here about whether or not you can do this because of, you know, maybe you're thinking you don't have the money, or you can't make it out on your own, or whatever reason. But there's a real pull here for you to go into that direction of healing, and maybe not feeling supported and validated. So what's the conscious influence? What are you aware of with the situation that's going on with you right now? Well, you have the Eight of Pentacles right now. And so the Eight of Pentacles speaks about a person that's doing this job and is very content to be doing it. It speaks about passion. Usually it talks about in the workplace. And so maybe there's a part of you that wants to change jobs, but you're thinking that you're not going to be supported or validated. And there's a big part of you that's feeling the pull to go in another direction, to leave your job that you've been doing maybe all your life. Could be a job that you're connected to for some reason, whether it's family, fear of letting certain people down. But you're feeling this pull that's a lot more passionate. Something that's more passionate, more feeling, more you, and you're wanting to go in that direction. And I think there's a real, you're aware that the next card is this Eight of Cups. And you're aware that, you know, you're walking away, that you want to walk away, that I think this card often talks about this individual that's kind of going through a real dark night of the soul, really torn up about this, and somebody that's taken their time to, you know, think things over. Maybe you've thought about this for a long time. Maybe you are thinking, oh, maybe I need more. I need to think about this some more. Maybe you're going through a real dark night of the soul around this. You know, this is tearing you up. And you're just wondering, what am I going to do? Because I really want to follow my heart. I want to do what I want to do. Ten of Pentacles comes in right after. It's sideways here. Ten of Pentacles speaks about generations on here. There's lots of generations on here. About 3 or 4 different generations. So it's very much a generational card. And then you have this formation here. It's called the Kabbalistic Tree of Life with all these pentacles. It's a Jewish symbol, and it represents each node, or each pentacle is going to represent, you know, a study, and they would study this particular, whatever the topics are, and it would help them get to know themselves more. And so it's a real study of your lineage and where you came from. And you know, this talks about, because it's a healing channel, it also talks about generational trauma. So I'm just wondering if, I almost feel like you could be caught up in a job that is so generationally connected to your family. Like maybe it's something you inherited, and you would be letting people down if you did this, and yet there's such a pull for you to go into a different direction. I'm wondering if it's that. But there's definitely, you know, something around generational trauma, something to do with something that's been handed down. And, you know, maybe there's just a heck of a lot of guilt and shame in even considering doing something else. Almost like, you know, there's this built-in contracts that you have with people, and it's like, well, if you do this, you know, like, shame on you for even considering this, right? So it could be something like that. And so where is this coming from, this whole feeling? Like, let's look at what's being handed down here. Let's look at what this generational card means. I'm going to get a lot more information from the unconscious influence, because that's going to be your sort of what's going to be your childhood, your adolescence. It's going to be what's sitting in your shadow. It's going to be what needs healing. And when we take the time to heal what's coming up in our shadow, we're going to get more clarity on our next step. And so what is it here that's sitting here that needs healing, that's related to this generational stuff? Well, the first card you have is the Queen of Cups. And the Queen is the feminine side to us. It's the feminine side. We all have a masculine and a feminine side. Has nothing to do with our gender. And the Queen, the feminine side of us, has really been repressed over the years. And it's sitting here in your shadow. She's the part Queen of Cups. She's the Queen of emotions. And so there's these emotions that you have, this emotional part of you is sitting in your shadow, because I think a lot of your emotions when you were younger, you were taught to shut them down and put them away, and you couldn't feel them. So there could have been emotions like anger, could have been emotions like grief, you know, don't be a crybaby. You weren't allowed to feel certain things. Right behind it is the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles speaks about, it's called the Miser card in an upright position. It's somebody that's holding on to money, somebody that's holding on to their things. Because it's in your shadow, I mean, this could be about money, you know, money in the family. This could be also about attachment issues. There's something to do with abandonment issues, rejection, attachment issues, and you weren't allowed to feel whatever was happening to you, or whatever happened to you when you were younger around some sort of rejection issues. And then you have a Tower in sideways here. So I think this was a major thing that happened to you when you were younger. It could have been parents divorcing. It could have been something major that happened to you when you were younger. An incident, many incidents, where you really felt like maybe you took on the blame. Maybe you thought this was, you know, there was some sort of rejection here. Maybe, you know, something like your parents would have divorced and you thought it was all your fault. Something like that, where you've taken on a lot as a child, but it had nothing to do with you. Nothing at all to do with you. And yet there's this you wanting to do something finally for yourself, to put yourself first, but you're feeling this real heavy weight of emotions that's coming over you, of this, you know, generational trauma that maybe has to do with something that happened to you. And, you know, maybe it's just a heck of a lot of shame that you're carrying around that's related to this incident, and it's coming up for you, and something's triggering all of that, and you need to heal it. So there's some real emotions that you need to heal right now that are coming up for you. And so what's needed for resolution? Well, the Two of Pentacles card comes in, and you can see this individual that's, you know, this is like, I was say this like a yo-yo, feeling like a yo-yo. Somebody that's very distracted, very dizzy, very dissociated. This is my card that's talks about keeping yourself distracted. and so that you don't have to feel. And I think you need to realize, how have you been keeping yourself distracted? Maybe you're an overworker, whatever it is, but there's a real need for you to look at, how you are keeping yourself distracted, busy. And right behind it is the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups is my card of dissociation. You have this individual that's kind of looking at all these cups on offer, all these emotions, all these things that are climbing out of the cups. And then it's all cloudy. It's like, dizzy, dissociated. So I see here that, this is how you've been sort of leading your life in a real dissociated way. And if we have this incident or incidents, this trauma when we were younger, and we haven't dealt with it, and we're carrying all this shame or blame or whatever it is from this, it will keep us dissociated. We will stay up in our head. Dissociation means that you live in your head. You don't live in your body, because this is where all our emotions are. So we go up in our head and we just live from our head, put all these masks on, all our ego masks, and we go out in public as somebody different than what we really are, because you're hiding a lot of who you are. And right behind it is the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune talks about, changes of circumstances, and maybe there has been a change of circumstance with you, but whatever the issue is, this is in reverse. And so I'm seeing here that there needs to be, what's needed for resolution is that there needs to be a change of circumstance for you, because this is in reverse here. It's like your wheel is going backwards. The Wheel of Fortune's meant to turn. Things happen, life happens, but yours it's upside down. It's not happening because you're living in a place of dissociation where you're not really aware of what's going on around you. But there's some real healing that needs to be done. And some real awareness that needs to be. And a big part of it is, if you're not feeling in a safe place, like we established in the beginning, you're going to continue to sort of be on that hamster wheel and remain distracted and dissociated, because it's not safe for you right now to get off that hamster wheel and feel what you need to feel. So guidance from the tarot here. We have the Ten of Swords here, and it's in reverse. So look what's happened to this individual. All these swords are in their back. What is a sword? What's the sword energy? This suit. Sword energy is all these mental thoughts that we tell ourselves. All that mind spinning in our head when we live in our head, when we're dissociated. All these things that you were told when you were younger, right? It's almost like somebody throws a sword at you and says, you are the cause of this. You're to blame. This is your fault. All these things that we were told when we were younger, and we continue to believe it and spin it in our heads until finally it just does us in. And I think this card comes up for you. The guidance from the tarot is saying, it's time for you to realize how much you've been spinning these narratives, these stories, these belief systems in your head for so long now. And it's time for you, look what it's done to you, right? It's completely done you in. And you need to recognize that, here's the Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups, here's all these emotions, this beautiful range of emotions that you have. But you've buried that emotional side to you. And yet you have access to this full range of emotions. Emotions are meant to come in. We feel them, we process them, and they flow out. It's like this flow back and forth, right? This beautiful rainbow of emotions that come in, and we feel them and they move out. And that's what keeps the wheel going, this Ferris wheel that we're all on. We feel these emotions that come in cycles of emotions. And this card is here to say that, you have this full range of emotion, yet you're stuck and you don't want to feel it. And then you have the Strength card here. Here's the Strength card for you. It's sideways right now because I think you don't believe you have the strength. You have the strength to open up this lion's mouth. You have the strength to open up the Pandora's box and start to feel bit by bit a little bit of these emotions. If it gets too difficult, you close it back down, but you got to try to open it up again, right? And this is what this universe is saying. It's time now. It's time to open up these emotions that you have walked away from when you were younger and you weren't allowed to. But I think you need to realize, are you in a position where you have people that are validating you? Are you in a position who people are supporting you? That's what's most important, so that you can start to feel, Aries, these emotions. And so what card here is for you? You're left with the... I'm going to leave you with a video, and it's called How to Process Emotions. And you can take a look at that if you want. It's from my other channel called Carol Cares. And let's read this knowledge card as the last card for you. Knowledge is a gift that is meant to be shared with others. Most often this card comes to those who are teachers or those who facilitate the transference of information in others in some way. To others in some way. My nose got really itchy. The knowledge card is here to reaffirm the understanding that you play an important role in bringing through information, teachings, and higher learning to others. You help others to advance through what you have to share. This is a gift. If you have been doubting yourself or your abilities, then it's time to let that go. Trust yourself in what it is you have to offer. It's time to step out of your own way, to let go of your doubts or fears about claiming you. You were born to take up space here. You were born to share what you have. Spirit is acknowledging this for you to help encourage you onward. So there's that pull. There's a pull here for you to share something. And that's what that Passion card, that 8 of Pentacles, there's a pull for you to share something. You have something to share with other people. And you have something to share about you, about what you've been through maybe. And it's time. So I want you to have compassion for what you're working through, Aries. This journey is a very difficult journey, the healing journey, but it's the most important one. So take care, and I'll talk soon. Bye-bye.